Hello everyone, it's me Clayson. I just finished watching the latest Webtoon animated series known as Lookism. Now, based off the Webtoon series of the same name, I don't usually go over animated series that are based off of Korean webcomics, but trust me when I say this one caught my eye almost immediately. And thankfully, it's actually a decently told series that has an interesting message about the superficiality of youth and how some people can get by on looks alone. Let's get to the story, shall we? The story focuses on Park Hyung Suk, who's this overweight kid in high school who's repeatedly bullied by several of the students just based off of his appearance. He's poor, he's has a struggling mother who's trying to make ends meet, and he's generally frustrated with how everyone in his life treats him like trash just because of how he looks. But then he wakes up one day having a body that's much taller, more handsome, and slimmer, and he's actually treated as the hottest guy in school the next day. So when he finds out that he can swap between the two bodies to the point where people think that his chubby body and his slim body are two separate people, he decides to try and improve his life at a school where he's allowed to excel, while also helping out some other people who are also getting bullied and finding out that and helping them find that they can still succeed despite not being conventionally attractive. So, like I said, the message of the overall series about acceptance and when it comes to never giving up, despite how you may look, is a very good message, and I actually do appreciate the fact that the series doesn't have our main character turn to a jerk when he gets his new body. When it comes to a lot of the stories that have this structure, sometimes the main character gets a little too arrogant when they happen to get a lot of the stuff they like from the new body. But while Park Hyung Suk obviously finally gets friends for the first time, and people start to treat him like a decent human being for once, he never loses his innate kindness. He still screws up every now and then, of course, but he still obviously cares a lot about people regardless of looks, and he does try to stand up for people when they're being mistreated, such as as it's seen with another character named Deokwa, who's an aspiring rapper who tries to get into the scene despite not looking as impressive as the producers and the songwriters would have liked him to. I like that Deokwa has an appreciation for Eminem, since he was also bullied and managed to make a name for himself with rap music. And they even have a song called Fly Up in the last episode that really happens to not only work with the themes of the series, but just sounds really good on top of that. Now, the animation for the series was done by Studio Mir, who you might remember for The Legend of Korra and Dota Dragon's Blood, and even the fourth season of The Boondocks. And I usually like their animation when it comes to its detail and how well it works for the action scenes, because there are actually a decent amount of action scenes here as well, since Park Hyung Suk has to learn to defend himself pretty early on. And I don't think they're as impressive as some of Korra's action scenes or even the ones from the fourth season of The Boondocks, but they're serviceable for what they are, even if I think the animation works better for the slice of life bits. Though that also has some occasionally wonky looking CGI that can honestly make some of the CGI from recent anime look good by comparison. But the 2D animated stuff is often good enough to the point where it doesn't bother me as much as it normally would. And there's even some cool 3D camera movements during a few episodes that do show that they were clearly trying to make this look good, for what it is. I initially thought that the three Webtoons anime for Tower of God, God of High School, and Noblesse would basically be the last we'd hear of Webtoons getting animated, but I'm glad that this one got its own adaptation too, because I can see fans of the Webtoon really enjoying this one. Granted, it does have some problems with certain characters being one note, and like I said, with some of the CGI in the animation department, but when the show works, it works really well, and I think it's very well intentioned, and it gets across its messages better than a lot of Webtoons could. Because trust me, I've seen some terrible Webtoons on the site, and this one's actually one of the decent ones. So I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. See you next time.